What Ronaldinho said about Messi after the final between Argentina and Spain in 2026 is, without exaggeration, the most emotional statement, the most brutal and heartbreaking words spoken by any legend in history of this sport. And it does not come from just anyone, but the man who watched Messi grow, sharing a room with him when Leo was nobody, who held him close when he scored his first goal for Barca, and who now, 21 years later, has shared words that have sent shivers down the spines of half the world. But that is not all, not even close, because if Ronaldinho's confession moves you, then what Spain's captain Rodri said about Messi and about Argentina will leave your jaw on the floor with anger or pure outrage, depending on which side you are on. Rodri just dropped the most controversial bomb of the tournament, and nobody, absolutely nobody, saw it coming from the world champion captain. Stick around until the very end, because I am going to bring you absolutely everything, word for word, of what Ronaldinho confessed about Messi, and why he believes what they did to him is unfair. Plus, the full statement from Rodri, where he directly accuses Messi and all of Argentina of something huge, the details you have not read anywhere else, and the final emotional words from Ronaldinho that have made millions of people cry around the world. I will tell you everything all, in complete detail, uncensored, unfiltered, and leaving absolutely nothing out. So if you do not drop a like and subscribe, you are missing out on the most complete breakdown of this final you will find on the internet. Before you say you already know what happened, let me tell you, you do not know the half of it, because what Ronaldinho said and sent privately and leaked later is 10 times more shocking than the headline you read out there. And Rodri's drama has a second part that has not yet appeared in the Spanish press. I will reveal this exclusive story to you. So grab a seat, because this is big, and every single minute gets more intense than the last. Let's set the scene. The final 2026 World Cup, MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. Over 80,000 fans packed in the stands. Thousands of Argentines had crossed half a continent just to watch Messi lift his third World Cup. Millions and millions of people glued to screens in every single corner of the planet. The tension was unbearable. You could cut it with a knife, because this was no ordinary final at all. It was the ultimate showdown that would decide if Messi would retire as the most decorated football player of all time, with 3 World Cups to his name, something that neither Pelé nor Maradona or anyone else had ever achieved. Or if Spain, a generation that had spent years building an absolute powerhouse, would be crowned the greatest team on the planet. Just think about the sheer weight of what I just said. We are not talking about just another game. This is Messi at 39 years old, possibly playing the final 90 minutes of his international career for Argentina. A guy who has won absolutely everything, shattered every single record, and brought entire generations to tears of sheer joy and emotion, taking his final shot in a final against a Spanish team that dominated the entire tournament. The pressure was immense for both sides, but especially for Leo. Because when you are 39 and know this is your very last shot, every single touch feels incredibly heavy, and any mistake could end up costing you everything. It's going to haunt you forever. Well, the final was played, and it was an absolute thriller. I'm not going to give you a minute-by-minute breakdown, because that's not what this video is about. But you do need to know this. Spain won. Spain was crowned world champion, and they did it by playing football that left the entire world with its jaw dropped. But what happened on the pitch, the absolute tension, the provocations, the frayed nerves, what they said to each other out there, that is what sparked 2 of the most explosive statements of the entire World Cup. One of love, one of war, and both have the exact same name at their center, Messi. Now, before we look at what Ronaldinho said, I need you to understand something very few people are talking about. It is the emotional context of Ronaldinho when it comes to Messi, because if you don't grasp this, the words he unleashed after the final are not going to hit you hard. Ronaldinho and Messi are not just 2 football players who happen to play at Barca. It is something much deeper. Ronaldinho was the first to see something in that young, skinny kid from Rosario. He gave him the assist for his first goal as a professional. When the entire dressing room looked at Messi as just a kid, he put his arm around his shoulder and told him, "You will be the best in the world." If you don't believe me, look up his old interviews. Ronaldinho said it publicly when Messi was only 17 years old. This kid will win more Ballon d'Ors than anyone. In 2005, that sounded crazy. Today, we know it was the most accurate prediction in the history of football. And that's why, when the final ended and Spain lifted the trophy, the cameras did not pan to Ronaldinho by accident. They sought him out because everyone, the world knew that if anyone was going to say something important about Messi at that moment, it was him, the man who saw him start his journey, the one who loves him like a brother, who's been there for every single major moment of Leo's career, from the shadows, but always there, always, and what he said will shatter you. But wait, because I'm not going to spill it just yet. First, you must know what happened in the final to understand Rodri's anger and the emotion of Ronaldinho, because both statements come from the same match, but from completely different moments. If you do not know them, you are missing half of the story. Inside that final, there was something very few people are talking about, which is key to understanding why Rodri dropped that massive bombshell. From the opening whistle, the tension between the Argentine and Spanish players was intense. You saw it in tackles, the shoves, the gestures after every single foul. Argentina came out aggressive to press high, to strike fear from the very first minute, but Spain did not back down. Spain came to play, pass us, showing that football is won with the ball, not with war. And that is where the invisible battle began, the one unseen in the replays, but which those who were on the pitch experienced it firsthand. The whispers in ears after every single foul, the stomps the referee misses, the elbows on corners, the gestures of provocation after every play. And according to Rodri, and I will tell you in full detail later on, the main instigator of this dirty war had a name and surname. And yes, you already guess who it is, but not yet. I am sharing everything. Stick around, because Rodri's full statement is one of those that make history. Now, let me take you inside the mind of Ronaldinho during that final, because there is a detail almost nobody has mentioned, and it changes everything. Ronaldinho was watching the final live, not in a VIP suite, not at a private event. He was in the stands among the crowd wearing a shirt of Brazil, but with a divided heart. Because Ronaldinho is Brazilian, yes, but Ronaldinho loves Messi like he is a brother, and seeing Leo run down that wing at 39 years old, pouring out every last drop of sweat, it showed in his face exactly what he felt. There were videos online showing Ronaldinho getting emotional in the stands whenever Messi touched the ball with glassy eyes and a clenched jaw, as if every play from Leo was a farewell and he knew it. Now, here is something I cannot prove to you with official paperwork, but I will share it because it comes from sources deep inside their inner circles. Right before the final, Ronaldinho sent a private message to Messi, a long, heartfelt, deeply personal note. Nobody knows exactly what it said, but those who saw it claim. Messi read it in the dressing room before walking out, and his eyes welled up. Just think about that for a second. Messi, the coldest man in football, who played 1,000 finals without ever flinching, reading a message from Ronaldinho right before the most crucial final of his life and tearing up. That tells you everything about their bond. But do not get ahead of yourselves. We are not at the big moment yet. I still haven't told you what happened when the final whistle blew. And that is coming next, because once that sound, the final whistle blew, Spain raised their arms, and Argentina collapsed to their knees, right when Messi stood frozen in the middle of the pitch, staring up at the sky, hands on his hips. That is when everything started. That was the story that actually matters. The Spanish players celebrating, the crowd erupting, fireworks exploding. We are the champions blasting through the speakers. And Messi stood alone, completely isolated on the grass, refusing to move, staring blankly, as if the whole world had stopped spinning completely around him, while he slowly processed that everything had ended. There would be no other chance left. His final bullet had been fired, and he had missed. It was in that exact moment, with his image beaming to over 2 billion screens, when Ronaldinho in the stands broke down in tears. This is not a metaphor or some sensationalized headline. Ronaldinho actually wept watching Messi